By the way, Chris Astro, there's no need to watch the Science Channel at this point. Spacevidcast is on. Cav, let's do this thing. Welcome to Spacevidcast 419 for Friday, what is it, July 22nd, 2011. We are the Internet's Benjamin and Carrie Ann Higginbotham, and we will be your hosts this evening for this end of an era show.
Yes.
Wow.
Right?
It's really real now.
It is. It's really real now.
For those who don't know, for whatever reason, the America's Space Shuttle program is done. It's completed. Space Shuttle Atlantis has landed safely, and I thought it'd be kind of fun to dedicate the first part of the show to awesome Space Shuttle stuff. Maybe a few video clips you haven't seen about the Space Shuttle, maybe a few things you'd forgotten about the Space Shuttle.
Nice.
But before we get into that, I think it would be prudent to really quickly just show a few different angles of launches and the landing of the Space Shuttle itself. So here we go. Here is the last launch of America's Space Shuttle, STS-135.
We were holding at T-minus 31 when that happened.
Oh my God! Woohoo! Oh my God!
What's really cool about that shot, if you look, you can see the shadow in the cloud.
Yeah, Heather Knott just said that in the chat room. It is. It's very cool that you can see that shadow.
That is gorgeous.
You can hear people crying in the background.
Yeah.
That's obviously not the NASA TV video of the launch. That is video from the press site itself. That's what we saw when at the launch itself. And what a launch it was. Holding the clock at T-minus 31 seconds. Just to mess with us. I'm pretty sure they were like, oh man, Spacevidcast is here. Let's mess with their graphics now.
Right, no, exactly. And rightfully so, because our graphics are so kick-arse that, quite honestly, we would be putting everyone else to shame anyhow.
Shimster, who, by the way, was there at the press site with us, said at this point he was sobbing. And there were quite a few people, there were tears. There were actual tears at the press site, which for... As much as we talk about the press not really caring and just calling it a job, I absolutely did not get that impression on this particular launch.
Right.
Just about everyone there cared and was like, I can't believe this is actually ending at this point. So that was the launch itself. That was the final launch of America's Space Shuttle. Yesterday, on July 21st, 2011, the Space Shuttle landed for the very last time. So you have to have a first last launch and of course a first last landing. For those of you who were up in the wee hours of the morning watching this with us live on Spacevidcast, you're probably very tired right now. But here's a quick recap of the last landing of America's Space Shuttle.
As it approaches the runway, Commander Chris Ferguson will flare up Atlantis' nose to burn off excess speed. prior to the landing gear deployment by pilot Doug Hurley.
As the chat room is saying right now, the orbiter falling at a rate slightly less than that of a brick.
It's again the view from the pilot point of view camera, 1 minute till touchdown.
And BZ just corrected a brick with a paper airplane strapped to it.
Coolest brick ever.
The pre-flare maneuver executed.
Now, unless I'm mistaken, it's the nose at this point that's just glowing hot. Is that what we're seeing?
Yes.
The reinforced carbon-carbon at the nose of the shuttle that was just glowing in that shot?
Landing gear down and locked.
So cool.
I
Main
love
gear
that
touchdown.
shot.
Hurley now deploying the drag chute.
It's like stealthy.
Ferguson rotating the nose gear down to the deck. Nose gear touchdown. Having fired the imagination of a generation, a ship like no other, its place in history secured, the space shuttle pulls into port for the last time. Its voyage at an end.
So that is the final landing of America's space shuttle, bringing to an end 30 years of the most complex vehicle humans have ever put into
Unless
space.
you're the BBC and you thought it was 50 years.
Did they really say that?
Yeah.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, that's
50
all right.
years of space.
That's not what they
Humans,
said.
50 years of
That's-
the space shuttle?
Yeah.
Oopsie doopers.
That's okay.
In addition to the landing, so thought it might be fun to kind of go back over the last 30 years, not 50. It's our space program, not theirs. Let's go back over the last 30 years and look at a few other videos that were kind of interesting. One of the really, I don't want to say fun, we'll kind of call it kind of scary videos, is STS-3. Not the launch video, though.
Right?
This is the landing video.
Okay.
This is where we learned about an interesting little thing. Actually, we learned about this during Enterprise drop tests, but this is where we actually get to see it in action, and that's pilot-induced oscillation.
Okay.
Check out the landing at White Sands, the White Sands complex. This is the landing of Space Shuttle Columbia STS-3.
Still in auto. 56, gear coming. Close the gear. Gear down. 20. Turn. 5, 4, touchdown. Make gear 10. Make gear 5, 4, 3, 3. Touchdown. Then the new one. All right.
Yeah.
Yeehaw! That's what that was.
Yeah.
People in the chat room are saying that I came in too fast, and that's kind of what was going on. Yeah.
Yeah, neat, huh? Well, neat in a kind of scary sort of way where it slammed down really, well, first off, you saw it start to glide back up again, came back down. Not good. That was
Right.
That was
well,
not
as
good.
Stephanie was saying, they just popped a wheelie.
They're kind of showing off a little
Right.
bit. That was STS-3 with Space Shuttle Columbia. Also with Space Shuttle Columbia, STS-93. Now this one is fun because we're not going to really show you the actual, we'll show you a little bit of the ascent, and this is the ascent video itself, but this is a little bit more of a behind the scenes, did you know sort of thing.
Ooh.
STS-93 was not the cleanest ascent known to man. Actually, they had a few issues while going up. And this particular video is the mission control loop. So you can actually hear what was going on in mission control.
Go, no go.
Well, sort of. This is after that point. So the issues start shortly after they clear the tower, and it's organized chaos. And kudos to NASA for this level of pure awesome, I think is really because they keep their
Still
cool,
holding it together.
Holding it together, they're keeping their cool, and they're on the threshold of an abort in RTLS for a good chunk of this. So here you go,
Scary.
the STS-93 ascent video.
In the center, LHTLS pressure sensor looks good.
That's a good heads up. And I concur.
And all the LPFT discharge temperatures look good too.
Copy that.
Calf, rewind that video. I don't think it started at the beginning. Oh wait, it did. I lied.
Ports coming closed. Locks outboard closed.
Locks.
Fuel outboard closed.
Fuel outboard's closed.
CLS is go for auto sequence start.
Inside 31.
Copy inside 31.
25 seconds. HPOS is open. Organ turbine speed. 20. Organ SCB hydraulic.
Copy good hydraulics.
15. 10. Plug is open.
Main engine
All
start.
vents open. Fuel pre-house overboard bleed.
Overboard blade.
Ignition.
Ignition.
Throttling up. To 800 main
Liftoff
stage.
confirmed. Stage.
Copy liftoff. Throttle up. 3104.
Scorpios in a row. We've got a fuel
Lost
LPS
controller.
number 1.
Lost D2A on the center. D2B on the left. Got AC buttons off.
No action on the fuel
other
cell.
two AC.
Flight booster lost control redundancy, lost center engine A, right engine B looks like something on AC1.
Copy that.
AC bus sensors off.
AC bus sensors off. Columbia, Houston, we'd like AC bus sensors off.
Eagle flight?
In the fuel cell.
Flight, we're looking look like a transient on AC1.
Tell them that. Transient on AC1.
Bus looks healthy this time.
Roger that, Columbia. Looks like we had a transient
All down.
AC1.
To 67.
Booster flight, give me what we lost on the controllers. We lost a DCU-A on the center and DCU-B on the right. Critical AC2 on the center and AC3 on the right. Start alarm 367.
In the bucket. Main engine concurs and copies with your call.
So, that was the awkward. I was looking at my screen,
Right,
forgetting about the delay. Yeah, I was like, I just get wrapped into that video. First off, that video continues for a while. The first place I ever found it was actually...
And you could watch it like 3,000 times and still may not totally understand exactly everything that happened.
Right, so I'd recommend going back and watching the full. It's like a 9-minute video.
Yeah.
The first place I found it was in NASA Spaceflight's L2 section. Since then, I've actually found it. There are multiple places you can find it online, but we're huge fans of NASA Spaceflight, so go help them out with the L2 section. Regardless, watch it without our graphic overlay so you can actually read it, and then watch the full 9 minutes because there's more stuff that happens throughout that. But it just goes to show the professionalism of NASA. It's one of those little, wow, I didn't realize that's what happened behind the scenes.
Right. I mean, they stayed very, very. I mean, there were a couple of sort of like, kind of situations. Like,
and our last little homage to the space shuttle was done by Gizmodo, or IO9.
Gizmodo.
Gizmodo.
It's the same family.
All right. So it was done by Gizmodo, and normally I would kind of shy away from these videos, but they used our videos, so I figured we can use their video.
Yeah, we kind of pop up right around 2.12 and 2.26, I think it is.
Yep, so it's kind of fun to see them. They did this collage of the space shuttle over the last 30 years, showing a bunch of different flights of the space shuttle.
So right around 2008, you can see the SVC circle in the corner.
Yep.
And then in one 2011 launch,
you can actually
you
see
the
our
Ascent mission clock graphics pop up.
pretty cool. I was like, that's awesome.
Yeah.
So watch for that. Watch for that. But here you go, 30 years of the space shuttle condensed into one nice little video.
T-minus 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4. We've gone for main engine start. We have ignition. We have ignition of the solid rocket boosters. And liftoff. And the shuttle has cleared the tower. Shuttle has cleared the tower.
Roll maneuver confirmed.
It's the ride of your life.
Roger, roll.
Houston controlling.
Roger, roll, Challenger.
Throttles on their main engine. 57-degree inclination. Beginning throttle down. Wings level.
Discovery, go at throttle up. The main engine's back up.
Roger, go at throttle up. Roger, go.
current altitude 100,000.
All systems performing well. Downrange distance 14.
Standing by.
Separation of SRB separation.
Separation confirmed.
Second stage guidance down control.
Endeavor, 2-engine banjo.
En route to orbit. As it approaches main engine, standing by.
Now 50 seconds into the flight.
The shuttle has cleared the tower.
5. All 3 engines up and burning.
Roger roll, Atlantis.
Houston now controlling the flight of Atlantis. The space shuttle spreads its wings one final time for the start of a sentimental journey into history.
Landing gear down and locked. Main gear touchdown. Hurley now deploying the drag chute. Ferguson rotating the nose gear down to the deck. Having fired the imagination of a generation, a ship like no other, its place in history secured, the space shuttle pulls into port for the last time. Its voyage at an end.
That is the space shuttle for the last 30 years. And program comes to a close.
Does.
Moving on, and we're done. Speaking of programs, exactly. Speaking of programs that are coming to a close, the James Webb Space Telescope is in danger.
JWST.
Yeah.
We need new shirts, Stephanie.
So there's actually a pretty good debate going on as to whether James Webb Space Telescope should be salvaged. We've actually got a little animation of showing the deployment of the James Webb Space Telescope. We like to call it Hubble's replacement, although that's not an entirely true statement. It does infrared, so it can see really, really far back, and it's got ginormous mirrors. Go ahead and play the
really big mirrors.
Go ahead and play the deployment animation so you can kind of see what the craft itself looks like. It's woefully over budget at this point, and it's.
Is it Ares over budget?
Oh yeah.
Ooh.
Oh yeah. It's billions over budget.
Ooch.
It is years late. I believe. I believe, I could be mistaken, but I believe the earliest we can launch it at this point is 2018. I mean, it's way, way out there.
Ouch.
And with all these delays, the House and Senate basically said, you know, we're gonna scrap this program. We're not gonna do it anymore. And I have mixed emotions. As Quantum G mentioned in the chat room during our 14-hour streamathon,
which if you missed, shame on you.
You know, it's not necessarily a bad thing that they're going through and canceling this program, because if it's mismanaged, then it can be the best thing in the world, but it's still mismanaged, and it's, you know, that was the problem with Constellation, essentially.
Right.
And so how can you vote to cancel Constellation, but then vote to keep James Webb Space Telescope? I think the big difference here is that we have hardware with James Webb Space Telescope, and I question, there are two ways of looking at the cost. We've already sunk billions of dollars into this program. Should we go through then and cancel it at this point? All of those billions are lost. Just poof, they're gone. They're not going to go towards anything. However, moving forward will cost more money, but how much more will it cost?
Right.
So does it cost more money to cancel the program or more money to let the program go forward? And once the program does go forward, what amazing science are we going to get out of this telescope? When you look at the Hubble, you know, Hubble was not the best thing that came, when it launched, they had issues, huge issues. And they had to send up a shuttle mission, and we've sent, 5 servicing missions? I forget how many, to fix the Hubble Space Telescope.
Right.
So, but it's given us amazing science and looked back really, really far.
Yeah, no, it has. But, as some people are mentioning in the chat room, how much money is it worth then?
That's actually the question, right? So this is why I'm split 50-50 on this. How much is it worth? Because bad management is bad management. Now, I haven't,
But you can always change management, can't you?
Yeah, but I mean, what's to say that'll make it any better?
I suppose.
So projects like this will be over cost and over budget. This is just really, really over cost, really, really over budget, and it is taken away from other things. Now you're looking at a video of the different size of mirrors. So that's the Hubble's mirror compared to the James Webb Space Telescope mirror. The larger the mirror, the more light you can you can essentially reflect in, and the better and more awesomer the pictures are going to be. So I really don't have an opinion on this. I mean, if you ask me my opinion, it changes on an hourly basis as to whether we should keep it or kill it.
Right.
Because we've sunk all this money into it. It seems foolish to just kill it, and all that money goes to waste. And think of the amazing science we're going to get off of this thing.
Right.
And it is an amazing telescope. I mean, spec-wise, it's an amazing telescope. And as NASA Jim is saying, the mirror is finished. We have hardware.
Right.
It's not like there's nothing being built. We have hardware being built right now. Unlike the Constellation program, if we're like it to that, there was no Constellation hardware ever built. And Ares 1X is not an Ares. There was never a part of the Ares. I'm sorry, there was a test article 5-segment solid rocket motor that was built and fired, but nothing that was actually built for a final Ares rocket. So we hadn't even gotten that far in Constellation. We're quite a bit further with James Webb Space Telescope.
Right.
But I hate to see it steal from other planetary sciences and human space flight and other areas inside of NASA, because it just keeps sucking up all of this money.
Well, someone suggests put it on eBay.
Put it on eBay. Yes.
The shipping cost would be astronomical.
Or maybe not.
Or yeah, this is true.
Free shipping with Buy It Now.
Oh, yeah.
So there's the James Webb Space Telescope. When we come back, we're going to talk about what we thought the future would look like when the Space Shuttle program was kind of winding down.
Right.
Right. So we've
the
got
Space Shuttle program.
The Apollo. See,
what we thought of last week.
Just call
what
me
we thought the future would be.
Just kind of call me the BBC.
Right.
We're going to talk about what yesterday's tomorrow, what NASA thought the future would look like in the 70s.
There you go. Before we started, while the Space Shuttle program was winding up, actually.
There you go. Absolutely. As Apollo was winding down. That's what I was looking for. And we're also going to talk about Space Up LA. Our favorite unconference comes to LA. Woot. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
That's not what it does.
It's the monorail.
No. It goes like this.
That's my monorail.
Nice and smooth.
Wrong monorail though. That was Disneyland. This is Disney World's monorail, and they're different. They are different.
They don't know.
They don't know.
They don't know. It's okay.
Before we talk about Space Up LA, and we're going to give you some topics to talk about at Space Up LA, and I'm going to call this, because we just watched a Disney ad, which awesome. We're going to call this Yesterday's Tomorrow.
Yes.
This is NASA's vision of the future, and this video is somewhat long, but I think it's worth it anyhow. It's kind of interesting and it's fun.
And for those of you who used to watch Lost, you'll get a kick out of it.
Right?
Right?
Yeah.
It's a very. The best part is that you know it's authentic. It was made back in the day, but you look at it and you're like, this looks like a parody of all of that stuff made back in the day. No, this is real. This is real, people.
It's realsy for real.
For realsies.
So here you go. This is Yesterday's Tomorrow. This is, and listen to some of the timelines they thought, but this is NASA colonizing space and what they thought it would look like. Here you go.
Several years ago, a professor at Princeton named Gerard O'Neill conceived of the idea of putting large colonies in space, large artificial places where people could live and work. And what we did was to gather together a group of university people to look at the problem of how you would start this whole endeavor, of how you'd build the very first colony.
This is Taurus, the concept that has evolved from the work of these teams of scientists and engineers. They believe the huge space colony could be built before the year 2000.
The space colony has the ability to provide a facility in space where human beings can conduct fruitful industry. The amount of sunlight that is present in every square mile of space is enormous, and that provides enormous energy. One of the things that one can do is to build very large solar power stations which collect sunlight, and to use that power either at the colony or to transmit it to Earth in the form of a microwave beam where it is collected on Earth and put into the ordinary electrical power system. The materials for the colony and for the power station largely come from the moon. It is much cheaper to haul the materials from the lunar surface than it is to bring things up from the Earth because of the difference of gravities. And so it is the abundance of good material for building aluminum structures and glass structures in space that come from the moon that make the idea work.
Constructed almost entirely from ore mined on the moon, the Taurus colony would become home for 10,000 people. They would live, work, and be protected within a vast wheel more than a mile in diameter. The Earth-like environment would even simulate our gravity as the wheel revolves once each minute.
The other materials like food and water are maintained locally within the colony. The initial supplies are brought up from Earth, and then eventually the colony becomes self-sustaining. We got the agricultural system designed so that we could actually feed 10,000 people in an area of just a little over 100 acres. This is very, very, very efficient. We did it by utilizing the sunlight that's available all the time in space, by optimizing the temperatures, by not having storms or things like that that damage crops. And we increased the carbon dioxide levels a little bit so the plants grow a little faster. By playing all these tricks, we were able to generate this fairly efficient farm in our design.
From dairy farms to manufacturing, the concept of living and working in space is a possibility with existing technology. That new space home, located 250,000 miles from Earth, would even have a far-out address.
There are places in space between the Earth and the Moon called the libration points. And these are places basically where the gravity from the Moon and the gravity from the Earth cancel each other out, and an object placed at that location remains there and doesn't drift off. They're called L4 and L5. There are two of them, one before the moon and one on the trailing side of the moon.
Space colonization. Beneficial occupancy of possibly the last and highest frontier, the space beyond Earth.
I feel like I'm floating.
Whoa. What just happened there?
Hello?
I want my space station, right? Did you guys pick up on that?
No.
Before the year 2000, using technology from the 70s.
Awesome! You could already use the technology that's available today.
I want my space station. So there is a topic for Space Up LA. And joining us for Space Up LA, we have input 4. Just so you know, I don't know if I remember to telecap that. We've got Eric. Eric, welcome to Spacevidcast.
Hey, what's going on?
Oh, well, you know, we're talking about yesterday's tomorrow, and that's one of the things you guys could talk about at Space Up LA.
But you don't have to.
You don't have to.
Anything you want.
That's one of our favorite parts about Space Up.
Honestly, people show up and whatever they want to talk about, that's what we're going to talk about.
Tell me about Space Up and how all of that works. What is an unconference and why is it different?
Well, sure. So I'm super excited. I went to Space Up San Diego in 2010 and 2011. That's kind of where it started in 2010, actually, and since then has been expanding to Houston and Washington, D.C. They're going to have a few more in some other sites. So Space Up is an unconference. If you guys have heard of a bar camp, what it is all the participants are the ones giving the discussions. They sign up. We're going to have this really large pod session grid, and everyone's going to be able to talk about whatever they want to talk about. Present something that they're really interested in. They're going to be able to really be able to be engaging with space enthusiasts all across the region. So if anyone out there's been to the San Diego or Houston or Washington D.C. ones, a little bit like that, you've or a bar camp in general, there's going to be a lot of really neat, influential people to talk to there. So
you show up, you put the topic you want on the board in the room you want. But how do people kind of get together in those rooms? I mean, how does all of that coalesce into something that actually makes sense?
I was confused the first time I went there too, because I showed up. I didn't have anything to talk about. I'm thinking, how's this going to work? How's anyone going to come up with any topics? But as you start to meet people there, or find out where they're from, what their background is, you start to have these little hallway conversations and want to talk about something, or maybe someone has a crazy idea that you're thinking debating, and all of a sudden someone says, "Hey, let's have a big discussion. I think other people want to talk about that too." And you just put something up on the on a session grid. You reserve a spot, and you'd be kind of surprised. Everyone there is just as interested as you are about space, and really wants to get involved. So this is very different from a lot of the conferences that you go to. I'm an officer in AIAA, the American Institute of Aeronautics and Astronautics. And a lot of those conferences, you have a guest speaker, maybe you have a meal, and then you listen to someone talk up on stage. It can be very interesting. There could be, people who bring, some really good new ideas to the table, but it's not as engaging as Space Up LA is going to be. So that's the whole purpose, is to get people engaged and talking about space in the future.
Speaking of being engaging, talk to me a little bit about T-5 talks. Are you guys going to be doing those as well?
Oh, of course we are. Yeah, so T-5 talks, they were originally called Ignite Sessions in San Diego, and I think there was some copyright issue with that. But T-5 talks, it's the only truly formatted speech that people give. What it is it's a 5-minute talk. You can talk about anything you want, hopefully related to space, but we don't restrict it. A very specific talk, and you have exactly 15 seconds per slide, and you have to talk to that, and after 15 seconds, the slide's gonna advance to the next slide, and you have to start talking to the next slide. So it's exciting in that it's very dynamic speech, that is. So they're always a lot of fun. Some people have more trouble with it than others do. You have to have a little bit of preparation ahead of time, but it's always a lot of fun to watch those.
And who can give T-5 talks?
Oh, anyone can. If you're interested, what we do when we have people register for Space Up this year is we just ask you, are you interested in T-5 talk? If you are, we send you information about, what you have to do, what some of the requirements are, and just let us know. We'll, as long as you set up the PowerPoint correctly and we have it ready to go, anyone can give a talk. That's what's so much fun about this is, it's not just one person up there. We have about 10 to 15 people right now who are interested in giving a T-5 talk already.
Wow.
So how many people do you already have attending this one?
We have just about 70 people signed up, paid and signed up. We have a good number of sponsors already. We have SpaceX and X-Corps, San Diego Space Society are all sponsoring us. Scorpius Space Launch Company. They're all bringing a bunch of people. We actually have a good number of people coming from the Mojave Spaceport. And they want to talk about what they do there and show some videos and, debate the kind of ideas they have. So we have a good number coming. We are anticipating up to about 100 people. And all the pods will be streamed live online, hopefully on Spacevidcast, if Ben and Carrie are available. And we'll hope to engage the entire world with all of our talks there.
And where is Space Up LA going to be taking place?
Oh, it's going to be at the Columbia Memorial Space Center in Downey, California. Now, it's actually a really special site because the Space Center is relatively new, only a few years old, but it was built on location where the space shuttles were built and the Apollo capsules. They're all built right across the street. Right now, it used to be Rockwell. They're now like a movie studio. They've filmed a few different movies there. But the site itself is going to be, right there, right on site. So we're really looking forward to it. It's really kind of historic in a way that we're having this right after the end of the shuttle era.
Absolutely. So, you mentioned the where, but how about the when and the how much?
There you go.
All right. It is Saturday and Sunday, August 6th and 7th, coming up in just 2 short weeks. There's, if you're local, I highly encourage you to come. It's, it's going to be really engaging if you're local. If you can't make it, obviously, we have people coming from Houston and San Diego and Mojave Spaceport, all across the region. So it's $40 general admission. We have some discounts here and there from some of our sponsors. For example, if you're an AAA member, it's $30. We have really nice discounts for students. 25 for students, and I believe it's 20 for kids. All of that is thanks to our sponsors who are able to subsidize the cost. And it's going to come with an awesome T-shirt. We're making a custom T-shirt. Actually, we had a T-shirt contest, and Joy Weaver is someone who's going to come, and she was the contest winner this year. So her design is going to be on front. Some cool mission patches, and we have a few of our sponsors bringing some cool swag to give out too.
Should users bring anything with them? Is this like a regular conference where you just kind of go and sit down and listen to someone speak, or do you need to prepare for something at an unconference?
If you're doing a T-5 talk, you should be bringing your talk with you. If not, it's totally optional. We do have a lot of people bringing some presentations, videos. Maybe some people already indicated interest in specific topics. A lot didn't. A lot just are going to be coming and seeing what they want to do. It's a great networking opportunity, especially if you're looking for a job in either aerospace or production or anything space related. So we do have people, I'm sure are going to be bring business cards and things like that. You don't have to prepare in terms of have a pre-prepared talk if you're not doing a T-5. But just come and have fun and talk to everyone, be engaging, and you're going to get as much out of it as you can.
Eric, that's awesome. One more time, give me the location, time, place, and where they can get more information.
Sure. So first to give you more information, because all that information is on our website, it's spaceupla.org. You might want to put that in the chat room. So, spaceupla.org. It will be August 6th and 7th at the Columbia Memorial Space Center in Downey, California. We're renting out the entire museum exclusively for us, so it's going to be a lot of fun. They have a whole mission control simulator there. We're going to run that a few times, and we're going to have this gas igniter demo. One of the organizers is bringing this propane and oxygen-based igniter demo they're going to bring. We should see some supersonic flow there. That'll be really cool. So I really look forward to seeing you guys show up. And if you're not local, then please come on to Spacevidcast and engage us that way. We're going to take questions from the internet. We're going to have some volunteers who will monitor the chat rooms all the time and watch for questions you guys might want to ask. And hopefully we can get you guys involved in the conversation as well.
It would be awesome. We do our best to extend our network so that anyone can participate in any conference. But I'll be frank, there is nothing like being there in person. It's just like a shuttle launch. You can watch it on Spacevidcast, and it's awesome and it's fun and you like engaging with the community. But being there in person is so much better. It's so much different. There's just something you can't get through the internet when you're actually there in person.
This is true.
All right, Eric, thank you very much for joining us. We'll send people over to Space Up LA, and good luck on the conference. We're huge fans of Space Ups. We've covered every single one of them.
Yeah, I'm totally excited. It's going to be awesome. I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be great. Thanks a lot.
Thank you. On that note, that's our show. Eric did mention that we're going to be trying to stream Space Up on Spacevidcast. Now, Spacevidcast will not be at Space Up LA. This will be the first Space Up so Carrion and Benjamin have ever actually missed. And we will be watching it online with you. We've got a great team of techies over there who will attempt to stream it. And part of the reason is we're announcing some changes on Spacevidcast tonight. Now, on April Fool's Day, we announced that we were acquired by Maston Space Systems, and we got a lot of people. Well, it was a believable lie, right? I mean, we did it.
And you sold it really well. It was the top of the show, and
it was done well.
There was all of that. So
I'd like to point out it is not April Fool's today.
No.
And what we're telling you is true and is happening. Spacevidcast will be going through some changes. We have been hosted by the Crow River Coffee Company for years now.
Yeah.
And Adam, who's our director right behind me, has been doing a fantastic job with the show. Mm-hmm. And the thing is, Spacevidcast has never made enough money to work on its own. And it has always required that I have a full-time job in order to pay for Spacevidcast, which I don't complain about. Yeah. It is what it is. I love doing this show with you guys. You guys are amazing, and we're going to continue to do that. However, I am changing where I'm at in my life, which means that we will no longer be broadcasting from Minneapolis, Minnesota. Spacevidcast will be moving to Los Angeles, California, where I have been hired by a major aerospace company in the region to do some stuff over there. So our live shows will be going on hiatus for a small amount of time while we pick up, move, and regroup. We'll let you know what's going on with that. We're going to continue to attempt to produce space pods so we constantly have that stuff going with you. Now, it's important to understand, and I need to make this distinction. Benjamin Higginbotham has been hired. Spacevidcast has not. So Spacevidcast is still a completely separate entity, and what we say and do on this show has no bearing on the aerospace company for which I will be working. I want to be very, very, very clear on that. Spacevidcast is still something that we do. It's still a labor of love, but yeah. So there you go.
We don't have Spacevidcast. Does not have a new sponsor. We have not been acquired by any company in any way, shape, or form. Spacevidcast still remains our hobby, our labor of love, if you will, with most money still coming out of our pockets. But Ben has a new job.
Correct. So it's very important to make that distinction. But my job does directly impact Spacevidcast. So I did want to let you guys know about the change in advance. We're very excited about it. It's going to be awesome. Spacevidcast will stop broadcasting our 24-hour live channel most likely on August 1st, 2011. This is the part you guys probably don't want to hear. And this is not set in stone yet. But I want to throw this out there and prepare you guys for it. It is very likely that Spacevidcast live shows will not return until January of 2012. Yep. It's going to take some time to reestablish over there. It's not as easy as it looks to do this stuff. And we haven't figured out how we're going to link back with Adam to make all of this go. So the live shows may go on hiatus for a while. The 24-hour channel will almost certainly go offline as of August 1st, 2011, because we have to shut it down to move stuff, right? You got to. Like I said, we are not going anywhere. I'm going to continue to attempt to produce space pods, so we're going to still have great content being produced on Spacevidcast. Our chat rooms are still open. Our Twitter feeds are still open. We're still around. We're still here to talk with you guys, but we do need to take a temporary hold on our live shows in order to completely unroot our lives, transplant, move over there and make this stuff happen. So there you go. That's the timeline we're looking at. So it looks like we'll have one more live show before the end.
Yes. Yes, as Jason is pointing out, our roving KSC reporter will still be working.
Correct.
Adam is going to try and do some stuff for us, and we've got a couple other people out there trying to put some things together so that we can still pump out content for you guys. In the meantime, there's plenty of old shows you can watch. There's plenty of great podcasts from the NASA spaceflight team, from NASA Edge. There's plenty of content out there. I know a lot of people do have NASA TV with their cable service provider. You can always watch that.
And who knows, maybe we'll just pop live once in a while just to be like, hey guys, how's it going? And not actually do a show, but just a place for Space Tweeps to get together. Because you know what? We love getting together with you guys from time to time. The other thing I want to mention is that there's a very high probability that the time of the show will be changing as well. We've been doing this show every Thursday at, every Friday at 2 a.m. Coordinating Universal Time since the inception of the show.
Right.
That will likely change as well.
Jim is asking if this has anything to do with the end of the STS program. No, these two events happen to just coordinate in such a manner. So no, it had nothing to do with that. People have asked us for years, what are you going to do when the space shuttle stops flying? And we always said, well, we're going to continue the show. And so this has no bearing on that in any way, shape, or form. We want to continue to do conferences. We want to continue to do space pods. We want to continue to do the live weekly show. It's just in the middle of everything without being settled, and Lord only knows what internet looks like, et cetera, and not having a studio to go to, we just don't know what it's going to be like between here and there. But of course, we'll keep you updated. We've got Facebook. We're on Google+, Twitter. I'm sure we'll be in touch, absolutely.
All right, on that note, I'd like to thank everyone for watching. We're going to answer a lot more questions in Spacevidcast After Dark. And remember, we're not actually going anywhere, so Epic subscribers, your subscription will still get you lots of awesome stuff when we release those space pods with all the behind-the-scenes stuff that Jason has been giving you that you guys absolutely love. You guys just wait until you see what we've got in the pipeline. He's producing some great content from Kennedy Space Center, and that's all going to still be coming out. So we've still got a lot of great stuff for you. On that note, I'd like to thank everyone for watching. I would, of course, like to thank the Crow River Coffee Company for so graciously hosting us for these past few years, and specifically Adam for doing everything he does. He's just an amazing individual who doesn't get enough credit on the show. On that note, see you guys next week.